Okay, everyone. Welcome to the engineering education. We are going to cover engineering education, but welcome to the engineering department orientation for the fall semester. We're really excited to have you here. Welcome to those who are returning to Cabrillo, who were here last year, and welcome to those who are new in the engineering program at Cabrillo. What we are going to do today is 4 of us engineering faculty are here. So we're going to tell you a little bit about ourselves. And virtually, I'm going to introduce you to some of the other engineering faculty that we have. We have about 10. And then there are some students, engineering students here in the orientation who might be in their second or last year at Cabrillo. So they're going to tell you about their path at Cabrillo. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to give you an overview of what the program at Cabrillo is all about, what it offers. We'll go through the engineering webpage to show you a bunch of things about courses and our mission statement. We'll also go through a Canvas page that all engineering students have access to, that we post things to. We'll talk about engineering, what engineering is like, engineering education is like in this 21st century. And then we'll end up talking about courses in the engineering program. And the main goal at the end is to make sure that you're all registered in the correct classes for this fall. So I'm going to put myself on mute for a moment. I'm going to put myself on mute in a little bit. What I want each one of you to do is don't hit enter, but I want you to type in the chat something that you're hoping to get out of this orientation today. So write down, hey, Jordan, thanks for coming. Write down what you're hoping to get out of the chat today, and don't hit enter yet, because I don't want to sway other people. So write down what you're trying to get out of this chat, what you're trying to get out of the orientation. And then in 2 minutes, I'm going to have you all hit enter.
Joanna, I don't know about everybody else, but I can only chat to you.
I don't know what to do.
I can't remember how to change the setting.
Because when I go down to the 3 buttons, I'm only controlling what the panelists can do. So that's okay. It's okay. It would be wonderful for everyone to see what everyone wants to get out of it. But I think the most important thing is for me to see what everyone wants to get out of it. So I make sure that we cover it in the orientation. Okay, everybody can hit enter now. Okay, what I'm seeing from people is they want to make sure to take
soup. You don't?
Everyone,
Okay,
could you
cool.
put make sure you're muted? Thanks. Somebody said they want to make sure they're taking the right classes this semester. Another person said, I want to get to know the faculty better and learn a little bit more about the program. A good understanding of how long it'll take to complete the transfer courses. Al, you wrote engineering lessons. I'm not quite sure what that means, but you could tell me in a moment. Learn a little bit more about engineering itself. Get a better understanding of who I'm going to be working with during my time at Cabrillo. General information about the courses and if I'm on the right courses. Meeting new engineering students. Resources available to help me to make sure that I am able to transfer in a mechanical engineering degree. Making sure I'm right on the right path. An introduction to what the classes are going to look like. Hoping to learn more about where I can get help if I'm struggling with the math class. I'd like to get a brief list of all the engineering fields and what I'll be learning in the classes. Great. Okay, you could continue to put more in the chat if you'd like, but those are the things that we are going to be covering now. So I'm going to start out with my introduction, and I'm going to just make it brief. I grew up in New York, and I have a bachelor's degree from Polytechnic University, which is part of NYU. And then I went to University of Maryland for graduate school. So I'm from the East Coast. My background is civil engineering and geotechnical engineering. And I worked for about 10 years doing surveying, doing civil engineering work, and doing geotechnical engineering before I started teaching at Cabrillo. I've been at Cabrillo. This is my 26th year. I love my career. I love working with students, helping them figure out which field of engineering to go into, making classes not seem as difficult as they might seem, and getting you on a great path to transfer. And I love working on one-on-one with every student to make sure that they're on the right path. Okay, I'm going to pass it over to Karen.
Hi, I'm Karen Grappi, and I have been at Cabrillo, 20 something years, but not as long as Joanne. I am a civil engineer by trade. And so that means I worked building roads and bridges and structures and all kinds of things for a good amount of years before I came to Cabrillo. And now I am doing some work on sustainability curriculum. And so I've taught most of the engineering classes at Cabrillo, at least not all of them, not the ones that Carl teaches. And so I will be around. I'm primarily going to be in the STEM Center this next semester. So look for me there. Excited that you're all coming to Cabrillo for engineering.
Thanks, Karen. You guys are all in an awesome place for engineering. You'll hear it from the students. Okay, Carl, would you go next?
Sure. My name is Carl Ewald, and my background, I started off in aeronautical engineering. And while I was studying aeronautical engineering, I kind of fell in love with material science. And that ended up, as you'll find, when you've invested units, it actually was cheaper, quote unquote, cheaper for me to get a double degree in mechanical engineering and material science and engineering. And then I have a master's and a PhD in material science and engineering. But strangely, what I did when I was doing graduate work was writing computer models and doing experiments and trying to get those two worlds to start to align. And so when I graduated, I actually ended up working in the computer industry for about 12 years. And then I ended up at Cabrillo in 2012. And I've been teaching here since. And I really like working with students. I like the collaborative parts of engineering. I think the lone engineer in a garage is largely gone. It's all like teamwork, and that's super fun. And it's super amazing to do things that you could never even do in your whole lifetime, but a team of people can do in 6 months.
Thanks, Carl. Okay, Kelly.
All right, thanks, Joanne. Hi, everybody. My name is Kelly Horner. I grew up in Watsonville, and I am a product of Cabrillo College. So about 20 years ago, I took Joanne's first Engineering 5, Intro to Engineering, or Engineering as a Profession class, and circled back around, 10 years later, and I was a part of the adjunct faculty in engineering. So I've taught the surveying lab and lecture, and also the materials lab and engineering 5 I've co-taught. Oh, and how things work engineering 3. Let's see, what else? I wear multiple hats, so I actually am not teaching at all this academic year, but I will be popping into some of the engineering courses for sure. And my main hats that I wear at Cabrillo, I'm the STEM Center coordinator. So for those of you who are interested in coming to the Aptos campus, you will see me there, and I hope you all will. And then I'm also the director of a program called MESA, Math, Engineering, Science Achievement. For anybody who wants more information on either of those things, I'll be popping into the E5 classes to give more info, and you can check out the websites. I'm also going to send my contact info to Joanne real quick so she can blast it out in the chat if that's possible, because I will be zooming out. Oh, I forgot. I transferred from Cabrillo to Cal Poly Pomona in Southern California. It's a sister school to San Luis Obispo, where some of you might be heading after your time here at Cabrillo. I worked for a couple years in industry as a civil/environmental engineer. And then I went back to school to a private university. I went to Stanford for my master's, and then went back to industry and worked for a very much smaller firm here in Santa Cruz County before Joanne found me and pulled me into the Cabrillo family, which I'm very honored to be a part of and honored to serve you all. So thanks.
Thanks, Kelly. And I know Kelly needs to take off, so she's heading to another meeting. So thanks for joining us, Kelly. Okay, I'm going to just share my screen for a moment just to, I have to move your faces just to see the other folks who are engineering faculty. We have Bob Hines. His background is mechanical engineering. Gary is mechanical engineering. Bob McCowan is a machinist, so he teaches the engineering 12 class. Roxanne Morris is a mechanical engineer. Rob Weiland is a marine engineer. Priti Brahma is environmental and a mechanical engineer. Kyle's a geotechnical, and Sarah's a civil engineer. So we do have a lot of faculty in different fields of engineering. And in the Engineering 5 class, you will get exposed to lots of fields of engineering through our alumni. We have a huge database of alumni who went to Cabrillo, transferred, and now working in engineering throughout California, the US, and the world. And we set you up with mentors that could help you out. So we'll be able to learn about, many different fields of engineering, even if our faculty don't have that expertise. I'm going to stop sharing. And now I'm going to turn it over to some of our current and past engineering students. And Jordan, I know your time is a little bit limited today, so I'm going to turn it over to you first. So if you could just say, Jordan, where you grew up, which field of engineering did you go into and why? What was helpful at Cabrillo if you wanted to give ideas to new students on how to be successful, and then where you've transferred to. And I'm going to mute myself.
Hi there. So I'm Jordan Berger. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, and moved to Santa Cruz, and then went to Cabrillo for like 4 years. I started as a photography major and then worked my way up to engineering. And it was really helpful to take a bunch of STEM classes and figure out what I did not want to do until I eventually narrowed it down to civil engineering. I have transferred to Minnesota State University, where I'm currently doing the Bell program, which is an engineering program that lets you do an intensive semester and then 2 years of co-op. So I'm in the Bell Academy right now doing a bunch of focused intensive engineering classes, and then I'm going to go work for 2 years, and then I'll get my degree from Minnesota State University.
So no, I think that's good. Yes. What things did you utilize at Cabrillo to become a successful student?
Well, Joanne was extremely helpful. The STEM Center was amazing. I was always there getting tutoring help. I would not have made it through my classes if it weren't for all the tutors at the STEM Center and the faculty there. There were such good resources all over campus, and everyone was super friendly. And the teachers were just really there to help.
And I think it's important to point out that Jordan, she said she's going to a school in Minnesota. About 10% of our students actually go out of state. So if you want to experience living somewhere else, you could go to many different universities throughout the United States. You don't have to stay in California if you want to do that. And we linked up with Andrew at the Bell program a few years ago, and we've had I think upwards of between 5, maybe about 10 students that are there right now. That we've had. So it sounds like you're enjoying the program, Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, Jordan. And Carl and Karen, if you want to ask Jordan to add something, please. I'm not going to think of everything. Do either of you want Jordan to add something?
I trust Jordan's discretion in what to share.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, definitely.
Jordan, I want to piggyback on what you said about getting tutoring in the STEM Center. It's important for you all to know that The tutoring is totally free in the STEM Center. There's also tutoring in the MLC. So tutoring on campus is free. You do not have to pay for it. And odds are you will use tutoring. Even if you are an academic stud in high school, it's different when you come to college and you're probably going to need tutoring. So it's really helpful. And like Carl and Karen said, it's very collaborative. Students work together in the STEM Center. So Jordan, thanks so much for joining us. And if you need to take off, please do.
Thanks, Joanne. Have
Okay,
a good one.
bye. Keith, you want to go next?
Sure.
Thanks.
I'm Keith Veditz. I'm a mechanical engineering student. I think this is the beginning of my 5th year at Cabrillo. I was homeschooled through high school through AFE, which a few people who have gone through Cabrillo are in the same boat as I am. So I don't know if any of you all are in that boat too. But hi, I've been a tutor for the last couple of years for specifically Chem 3 and Chem 1A, and a couple of the math classes too. And I also, I think it was fall semester, I TA'd for the Engineering 25 graphics and design class, and which was a very cool experience. I started in one of Joanne's Engineering 5 classes, and that's how I really learned where my specific engineering desires lay. And then she helped me like sort of map out where I needed to go from there to be successful, and that was super, super useful. So I absolutely encourage everyone to take Engineering 5. But I found that just talking to instructors, even like outside of class, and discussing the concepts, asking extra questions, has been really useful. And that's actually how I ended up becoming a tutor. Was I was discussing with, I was really interested in the chemistry that I was learning, and there happened to be a slot open for chemistry tutors, and so I got recommended over to the tutoring at the Hub Tutoring Center. So highly recommend the tutoring center. A little bit biased, but it is free, so absolutely take advantage. Taking notes, also super important. I found that to be very, very useful. I know a couple of people who didn't really take notes in high school because it was kind of just handed to them and they started struggling. But taking notes, helping to organize information is really useful. The tutoring center can help with that if you're not sure how to take notes. Yeah, STEM Center, Tutoring Center, both of those really great resources, and also just the professors are really, really nice. My experience in the engineering department has been overwhelmingly feeling like I've been sort of an equal, and just having those cool engineering discussions is a very rewarding experience.
Thanks so much, Keith. I wanted to mention something because you said you were at Cabrillo for 5 years, and one of the questions in the chat is how long will I be at Cabrillo? It all depends on how prepared you are from high school and whether you have a family or you're working 30, 40 hours a week in addition to going to school. So it really depends on how prepared you are from high school and also what your demands are in your life. It is almost impossible to finish finish in 2 years and then transfer. Those of you who start to take Engineering 5, you'll look at data that it ranges between 5.6 and 6.2 years to get a bachelor's degree in engineering. So even though people talk about it being a 4-year degree, it's really more than a 4-year degree. So our typical students are at Cabrillo 3 years, and then when they complete all the lower division courses, and then when they transfer to the university, they only have 2 years left. Okay. Now, we have had some students who came to Cabrillo and left in 2 years because they had a lot of AP classes and they didn't have to work and they could just bust their butt and get through. I don't encourage that. And I think Karen, Kelly, and Carl would probably say the same thing. We really want you to establish, be part of the community of engineering students at Cabrillo that transfer all over the country and the state so that you could be networked in the future to find jobs. And you'll also hear tonight that there's so many engineering clubs that you can join. One of the big ones is Engineering Abroad, where we go to a Central America country and work with a village on some kind of engineering project. And in order to do that kind of extracurricular stuff, which actually does have you learn more about what engineering is, you really need to not be putting so much time into your classes. So to answer your question, I would say definitely 3 years, and then it depends on how prepared you are and what your demands are in your life. So I hope that's helpful for the one question we got in the chat. Does anybody have any questions for Keith? You could write it in the chat if you want. I could read it. Okay, and certainly if you are homeschooled, we certainly have a number of students who are either homeschooled or came to Oasis or Delta at Cabrillo. So kind of an alternative high school, and then went through Cabrillo at the same time they were going through high school. And if any of you out there are actually current high school students, you could take classes for free at Cabrillo while you're in high school. What is May is asking? I think it's May or maybe Mai. What's the age range of engineering students? The average age range at Cabrillo overall is 29, but in our classes, I would say it's closer to 23. Carl and Karen, what do you think? We have students who are coming straight to Cabrillo who are from high school who are 18. We have high school kids that are taking classes that might be 16. And then we have returning students that might be older than me. But I would say, but the age range in engineering is about 24. It's less than the age range over the whole campus. Yeah, it's balanced. And that's what's really awesome, to have the diversity of students, not just in age, but life experiences, ethnicity, educational background, because engineering, after all, is a creative endeavor. And the reason Carl mentioned engineers work in teams is we all bring something different to the table, our life experience, so that when we have a team of engineering students working on a project, we think outside the box and everybody's thinking differently, and we come up with more creative designs. So there is a huge gap, a huge range, not gap, range.
I would just say that
Yeah, Carl, thanks.
no matter who you are or what your age is, if you come here, you will find someone similar to you that is going through the program. I can't remember anyone who hasn't, kind of had a peer, an age peer that was also going through the program or going through the STEM center. So there's always kind of that camaraderie of different people. And one of the great things about this is that you get to share your experiences with people of different ages, different experience levels, people that have worked and now decided to come back and get a degree. And so there's a lot of advantages to the breadth of that age group that we serve.
Just a few past students, alumni that I could think of, they might have worked in construction, owned a construction company. They might have been an electrician. They might have been a person putting in HVAC, heating, ventilation in the mechanical industry. And then they returned to Cabrillo, and then they transferred to a university, and now they're working as an engineer. And like Carl said, you'll find somebody to connect with, no problem at all, including connecting with alumni. Okay. Marcine, you want to go? Medina?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Marcine. I'm starting my 4th and planned for my last year here at Cabrillo. I'm going to transfer to either UC Davis, San Jose State, Cal Poly SLO, or Irvine. I have a lot of options. I'm not super picky, but yeah, I graduated from Aptos High School. I went straight to Cabrillo, and I've used to be very reluctant to come to Cabrillo when I first graduated high school, because there was this huge stigma around starting off at a community college. And I was wrong. And I love to be proven wrong in that sense. And I've really enjoyed my time at Cabrillo. The people, the faculty, and the friends I've made have really just gotten me more passionate about engineering. I started my first semester and I joined a club called WISE, Women in Science and Engineering. And that's where I truly found my footing here at Cabrillo. I felt like I really fit in with that group of people, and they've guided me to, like, you know, what classes to take, which professors to take, because the older students in the club, they had been through all of this, you know, and it was kind of nice to have someone who had been in my shoes, and lots of different point of views as well. Like you guys were saying about the diversity here, and just getting different perspectives was super helpful. And yeah, it was super fun club. I'm still in it now and I'd recommend it. And any like STEM club are just super useful to get to know your peers here at Cabrillo, and especially peers in your specific field, because that'll be super helpful to see those familiar faces throughout your time here at Cabrillo and your classes. It's really, really helpful to create a study group or a group of people you can count on to work together. It'll only benefit you, truly. And enjoy your time here at Cabrillo, because I mean, it went by really fast, as it always does in life. But yeah, and I'd recommend taking advantage of all the resources. I didn't know the hub was a thing until I joined WISE, and Amani, she'll be speaking to, she like taught me about the hub, the tutoring. I got math tutoring there with like the sessions with the tutor. It was like pretty small sessions, just like 3 of us. So it was really easy to learn that way. The STEM Center too. Mesa, I'm not in Mesa, but I've been meaning to get into it because I've heard it's also very helpful. So I would recommend it if you're interested, and lots of other programs. And don't be afraid to reach out to your faculty and professors, because they are super helpful, and it may seem intimidating at first, but it's worth it. And they're all very sweet.
Thanks, Marcine. And Marcine, were you able to work on the art mural today?
Yeah, I did. I worked on it. It
Oh.
looked amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. We've had the engineering department has been working with the art department on this amazing 3D ceramic mural that's going to go up outside the engineering lab. I won't tell you much about it, but it's it's great. Anyway, okay, Amani, you want to go?
Yep.
And then Aaliyah, you're next.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amani, and I'm civil engineering major here at Cabrillo. I'm starting my 5th year and final year, hopefully, at Cabrillo. I grew up in Damascus, Syria, moved here when I was 17 and went straight to Cabrillo. Technically, I didn't really graduate high school, but it's okay. And I got into engineering through Cabrillo alumni. She's not here anymore, but her name is Jocelyn. She also used to be the president of the club WISE that Marcine talked about earlier. And WISE is really the best thing that happened to be at Cabrillo. I made friends for life. We went on really cool trips and met amazing people on these trips. And what else am I supposed to talk about? Sorry, I just got off work.
It's okay. Maybe your major. What about resources at Cabrillo that help? But
Oh, yeah.
everybody's mentioning, the same ones. So maybe you could think of something else that
use Christina and Lauren as much as you can. They're amazing 2 people. They are the STEM counselors. So if you have any questions on how your educational plan is supposed to go, transfer questions, or anything involving these kind of stuff, they're amazing. They will help you out with everything that you need. The STEM teachers, faculty, engineering faculty are amazing. Carl, Karen, Joanne, I had them all, and they're amazing. So if you see someone and you have a question, or I guess you can't really see, but if you want to send an email, I guess, there's no more STEM Center. Well, are we open?
We're going to be open.
Oh, then yeah, you can see them. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be open. I'll have my office hours there, for example.
Great. And yeah, I'm applying to transfer this fall to San Jose, Davis, Cal Poly, Sac State, you know, and that's it, I guess. And don't worry about finishing engineering really fast. I've been working full time and going to school full time, and it takes a lot. So just take as much time as you need. You're not really in a hurry. That's what I would say.
Thanks, Amani. I wrote a few things in the chat. So the WISE Club is called Women in Science and Engineering. And then Amani mentioned Christina and Lauren, who are the STEM counselors, although Lauren is on maternity leave this semester. And then somebody asked, how do I get into any clubs? And in a little bit, well, not a little bit, but by this end of this orientation, you'll see where the links are to all the clubs so you could contact them directly. Okay, Aaliyah, I'd like you to speak as well.
Hi, my name's Aaliyah. I'm a mechanical engineering major at Cabrillo. It's my 3rd year out of high school. I did a year when I was still in high school. I'm 20 years old, just give a good idea of my situation. I grew up in Michigan, came here when I was like 16, did ARC independent studies to graduate high school. And yeah, I had no idea what I wanted to do when I started at Cabrillo, but I knew I loved physics and math, and I found out that I took engineering 5. So it's like a class that basically tells you all the different types. I think Joanne teaches it. And I found out about mechanical engineering, and it's kind of applied math and physics. So if you love those, and you learn about, you do design, you can do research, you can work with all sorts of equipment. It's aircrafts, vehicles. And if you love to observe physical things and find out how they work, I'd say look into mechanical engineering because it's a really nice broad field and you can always specialize later. Involvement wise, I'd say the STEM Center is really helpful. So quick question though, is it in person this year?
Yeah, we're gonna have some in person. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, STEM Center is amazing. Tutors, I know it can be intimidating, but the tutors are possibly your classmates. Most of the tutors that work at Cabrillo actually go to Cabrillo. So that's really nice. You'll probably see them around campus. There's WISE, I haven't joined it yet, so because I'm still at Cabrillo, but there's Robotics Club. I might join that this semester. I'm really interested in it. And there is Engineering Abroad, which I actually did 2 years ago. And it's absolutely wonderful. It's an experience where you get to work with others, kind of in the field. You learn team building, you gain a global community, and it's just super fulfilling. It's amazing. We went to Costa Rica and built a water purification system and bioswale for this trout farmer. We also did work with solar panels, and we built rabbit hutches, or we sized up rabbit hutches. So we did mechanical, we did civil, we did electrical, the whole range. It was super awesome. Definitely look into that if you're intrigued in engineering. And then successful wise, do not skip class. I know like going into Cabrillo with certain classes, it might seem it's okay, but that is my #1 advice. It's just don't skip class, and then communicate with your professors because they want to help you. They're here for you. They'll work with you. And then counselors, of course, the STEM counselors are super helpful. And then, yeah, the STEM Center, I came to California not knowing anyone, and I met some of my best friends from just classes at Cabrillo and the STEM Center. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Good luck, guys. And if anyone has questions, and I'm still at Cabrillo, so see you there.
So what's interesting is of the 5 people who spoke, Jordan took time off after high school, so she's an older student. Keith was homeschooled. Aaliyah took classes at Cabrillo while in high school. Amani's was an international student originally, and Marcine came straight from high school. So there is some diversity, but I want to share other diversity with you. Most of the 5 speakers, 4 of them were female. There certainly are more guys in our engineering program than women, but we are going to change that in the next 10, 15 years. So it's going to be 50-50. But right now there's about 70% male. Also, I wanted to mention that we have more than 50% of our students are Latinx students. And last year, the last 3 years, 51% of the students who are transferring to a university were Latinx. Okay, is STEM available online? It's the STEM Center is virtual and in person. All right, so does anybody have any questions for Keith or Aaliyah, Marcine, or Amani? You could write them in the chat if you do. Okay, well then I'm going to let them go because I'm sure they have other things to do, but I really appreciate the 4 of you or the 5 of you who came to speak to the students. Thanks. Okay, so you could go if you want. Otherwise you can stay.
Thanks, Joanne.
Okay, bye.
Have a good day.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye. Good luck, everyone.
Yeah. So there's a
Bye,
question.
guys.
Oh, sorry. There's a question from Brian. Brian, do we have to sign up for the STEM Center or just ask for help? If it was completely in person, you just walk in and use the STEM Center and you sign in when you go in just so that we know what you need tutoring in, but you just walk in, and in the virtual, you just come on to the link. So it's not something you have to sign up for ahead of time. To meet with a counselor, you have to have an appointment, but to get help from tutors in the STEM Center, you just walk in virtually or in person. Okay. I just want to look at my notes so I make sure that I'm covering everything I want to cover. Okay, so Karen or Carl? Oh, Carl, you said you could see the chat. So could you just watch the chats in case there's questions? Okay.
I said I could chat, but I can't see
Okay.
anyone else's
Well,
chat.
I'll look, if you have questions, post them and I'll look at them in a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so where I want to go right now is I'm going to share the screen to the engineering department page. And Cabrillo just changed its website last year. So our department and our department students, actually Marcine's one of the main students who's helping us tweak this. So right now the formatting I don't think is that great. You could see it better on a mobile device, but at least I want to give you the information. It's important for you to know these are, can you see them all? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What defines our engineering program is 6 things. 1, we're all about hands-on learning. There's engineering design in every single engineering class. We're all about engineering being a creative endeavor. And I also mentioned that to you. We work in teams with diverse groups. We're all about diversity and inclusion because engineering is a creative endeavor and we want everyone from different backgrounds to be a part of it. Integrity, it's an honorable profession. We work collaborative with each other. It's a cooperative environment and we're just ethical. Sustainability is a big piece. It's an obligation that we have as engineers for the future. And then engineering is a helping profession. We realize that as engineers, we're getting the technical capacity to be able to help solve medical issues, environmental issues, and help people and community. So I wanted to point out that first. We prepare engineering students for all engineering majors. All the courses that we offer at Cabrillo are for all engineering majors. There might be some specific classes like surveying that's just for civil, or the machining class that's more for mechanical, industrial, manufacturing, and aerospace. But we cover all the different fields of engineering. So by the time you finish all the courses at Cabrillo, you could transfer in any engineering major to any university in the state or across the country. Benefits of the engineering program: small class size, it's cheap. Somebody asked if a lot of students come to Cabrillo straight from high school, and the answer is yes. I put it in the chat. I'm hoping that you could see my chats. But the first, I mean, if you're coming from a local high school, it's free at Cabrillo. We have accessible faculty. We all are at a community college teaching because teaching is our passion. We have faculty with varied disciplines. We modern classroom and laboratory facility. 5 years ago, we had a $4 million grant, and we gutted the whole 800 building where our STEM classes are. So we have all new facilities. We have hands-on fun projects. All the classes are transferable to UC, CSU's private universities. You're getting a strong foundation. Students that we hear from have done way better when they transfer than the students that started at their school as freshmen, because we really make sure that students have a great foundation in the courses. We have a STEM center. We offer more than $40,000 in scholarships each year to engineering students. We connect you to alums, and we have a lot of engineering clubs. The engineering program at Cabrillo has been around since 1961. It's a long time. Rich Hart taught in the engineering program the first 35 years. And then when he retired, I took his place. We have a database of all our alumni. And as I said before, we connect you with alumni that are in the field of engineering that you're interested in. These are all the clubs, and here's the link to the clubs. So that's all you have to do is go to the engineering department site and you'll see the clubs, whoever asked me that. Here you're in the orientation right now. And this was the orientation I ran last spring, and I will put the Zoom recording for this. Hang on for a minute, I'm totally sweating. Okay, I needed some air. Okay, those of you who are at Cabrillo for the first time, and this is your first semester as an engineering student at Cabrillo, here's the information on what to take at your first semester at Cabrillo. And we divided it into two categories. One is all engineering majors except electrical, computer, and software, and then engineering majors in electrical, computer, and software. And if you look close, you'll see the difference. They both, regardless of your field of engineering, you're going to take CG 51 STEM. It's really introducing you to Cabrillo College and being a college student, and it's all geared towards being a STEM major. You also have Engineering 5 in both, where you get to explore both engineering, all the engineering fields. The third bullet is calculus. You need to be taking the calculus class that you are, the level that you're at. So notice, you would take Math 5A if you're going into Calc 1. You would take Math 4 if you're going into Pre-Calc, and you take Math 1 if you're going into Algebra. Okay, those of you coming in with AP Calc, you could you could go straight into Math 5B or Math 5C, and we could talk about that later if some of you have that situation. So notice CG 51 STEM, Engineering 5 Math are the first three bullets. Then if you're going into any engineering major but the electrical and computer, you're going to take chemistry because chemistry is required. So you're either going to take Chem 1A, which is college chemistry, or you're going to take the high school equivalent of chemistry, which is Chem 3 and 3L, if you didn't receive an A or B in high school chem, or you did not take high school chem. Notice for electrical, computer, and software, chemistry is not here. And the reason why are there are many electrical and computer programs, electrical and computer engineering programs at the universities that do not require chemistry. So in that case, we don't want you to take chem here. Instead, we want you to take a programming course. And you could either take C programming, C++, or Python, or if you really feel like you need more experience in computers, CS1 or L. If you want to take more than 4 classes, go right ahead. And then we listed a few classes that you could take in addition to these 4 if you want. So notice, if it's in all engineering except electrical or computer or software, then you could take engineering 25, which is for all of those majors, or 12, which is for mechanical and aero, or engineering 1A is for civil and structural. Or if you're going to the electrical and computer, an option is to take physics, and you would either go into college physics or high school physics if you didn't receive an A or B in high school physics, or you didn't take high school physics. So I'm going to stop sharing here right now. And also I'm gonna say, Karen and Carl, if you guys want to take off, you can, because I'm going to be going into like the engineering education and all the courses and stuff. So if you want to do that.
Oops, sorry, I actually got one question.
Yeah,
that just
hang on, let
happens
me
to be-
check in with Carl and Karen first. So Karen and Carl, you
Well, I
can
was
hang
going to
out.
say, if the students have any questions
Okay.
For us, this would be a great time to ask. And,
Okay, let's do
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
So Eamon, right? You said your name is Eamon? Okay, Eamon, what's your question?
So I'm just looking at my schedule and I just see that I'm on the wait list for a class that Carl is teaching. And I'm just curious what are the chances of actually getting to that class?
Is
And
that
Eamon, which
engineering
class is that,
45?
please?
It's materials.
I
So-
think the way that that's set up is I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get in. Let me take a look at the wait list right now.
Okay, I appreciate
Okay,
that.
and Eamon first, did you take Chem 1A?
Okay, so actually I'm kind of different. I've actually been at UC Santa Cruz.
Okay, did you take
And-
chemistry high school, or did you take college chemistry at Santa Cruz?
I've completed chemistry. Yeah, I've
Right,
taken.
okay. The first question is if you had the prereq, and you do, and now Carl will check.
Oh, okay, I see. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. And while we're waiting for Carl, Arturo asked, do we need to take all those courses in the same semester? No, 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 no. You have to determine based on your life, do you have a family? Are you working? And you don't take all those classes if it's too much. I'm just giving you some examples. So for instance, Arturo, what I certainly suggest you do, or actually Arturo, could you tell me how many hours a week you're working? That would be important for me to know. Okay, so you're not working. So then it would depend on, what class. I think you should take classes, maybe not all those classes, but I would definitely suggest taking engineering 5 to learn about, Arturo, are you related to Mike? Mike Laura? Yes. Okay. So Mike already transferred to mechanical engineering. So you want to take engineering 5 so you could really decide which engineering field you want to go into. You definitely want to take a math class. So Arturo, I'm gonna work with you individually towards the end of the class. So hang out, okay? Al, is it recommended to take chemistry in person? I'm in chemistry, but it's online. Not sure if I think all chem is online. And I think they're doing a really great job online, so I don't think it matters. Al, what's your major? Do you know?
I'm hoping to do mechanical engineering.
Okay. Okay. So if you wanted to go into chemical engineering, you're going to wind up taking a ton of chemistry classes.
No,
and you're gonna
mechanical engineering.
Right, I know, I heard you.
Oh,
If you're
okay.
going into chemical engineering or environmental or materials, you would be taking a ton of chemistry classes. So I really wouldn't be worried if one's online. I think you're going to learn a lot from it. The fact that you're going mechanical engineering, Al, are you registered in Chem 1A or Chem 3?
Chem 1A.
Okay, so it's fine. And do you know which school, which university you want to transfer to?
A little unsure, but
Okay. So if you go to a UC, you might have to take one more chemistry class, but if you go to like San Jose State or Cal Poly or another state school, you're only going to need Chem 1A. So Al, what I've heard is I think it's fine to take it online.
all right.
Okay. I don't know if anybody wants to add, maybe a student in the class, I mean, in this session could speak about if they took chem online. But I've heard the chem and bio department's doing a really great job with online. Let me see other questions. Link for the web page. So let me put that up. And I would suggest not getting distracted by the web page now, listen to what I'm saying and what we're saying. You could always look at it later on, and we're going to go back to it a little bit. Sam, I haven't taken chem in high school, so you need to take chem 3 and 3L before you could take college chemistry. But Sam, if you decide to go into electrical or computer or software engineering, you're not going to need chemistry. So if you're thinking you might be interested in that, don't take chem now. But again, I could work with you individually at the end of this session today. Let me see. Okay, I don't see any more questions. Carl, you want to answer Eamon's question?
Yeah, so Eamon, you're in the area, right?
I am, yeah.
Okay, so that's one of our rarer classes that has an actual face-to-face part of the lab. Most of it can be done online. So I think I'll be able to add you, but just come to the first class session, the Zoom for it. I'll communicate with you. I have your email address here, so I can get you set up so that we can make sure that everything works out
Okay, that's great. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Eamon, what are you thinking about in terms of your engineering major?
Oh, I'm trying to transfer into a mechanical engineering program.
Mechanical. Okay. Are there other classes you're in this semester that you're waitlisted in?
No, this is the only one that I'm waitlisted
Okay, great.
in. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to move on and continue to go on the website. Oh, does anybody have any other questions for Carl or Karen? So Karen knows everything about sustainability on campus. Well, she's our sustainability guru, I would say. And Carl, I think, is our everything technical guru. We all, just like we're saying, like creativity and engineering, everybody brings different things to the table. All our faculty bring something different to the table. So we all know who to go to for what to make our program better. So any last questions for Carl or Karen? And by the way, our offices are on the bottom floor of the 800 building, 811 and 812. But we'll be posting office hours, which may be online, will be online too. The engineering department basically is doing things online and in person this semester. So labs are in person, keeping safe with COVID, and then things are online as well. You might have more questions about that in a little bit. Okay, I don't see any more questions. So Carl and Karen, thanks so much, and I'll see you guys soon.
All right, bye-bye, everyone.
Okay, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. So it's still on the engineering department page. There are these, hang on a sec. Great. There are these, what the college is calling maps. It's like a 3-year plan if you're majoring in any of these majors. The college is really a proponent of having these maps, but they're very, very flexible. And I always meet with every student and make up your own individualized schedule because you're not all following the same schedule. But anyway, it's a way for you to see what's coming ahead in the future. Engineering 5, this semester, we have 2 sections. One is online, synchronous online. And for those of you who are new, synchronous online is what we're doing right now. We are synchronously at the same time online. So we're doing synchronous online, and then there's another section that's Thursday 4 to 7 that's taught in person. And then right now for the spring semester, we have 2 sections scheduled in person, but it may be that we create one in person and one online to accommodate students, but we'll see. But there definitely will be 2 sections in the spring. In fact, we might even have 3 sections in the spring. This is really for middle school, and here's my email address right here. Oh, I'm gonna just show you some photos, okay? So these are the WISE students who went with me down to Anaheim to go to a Women in Engineering conference. These are 3 of our past alumni that I told you we do design in all our classes. This is a project where they had to design something to shoot a water balloon a certain distance and hit a target. This is a lab, our materials lab, where Ahmad is determining the hardness of a piece of metal. These are 2 of, oops, sorry, I just stopped sharing. Here are 2 of our students who are taking the surveying class. This is a student who's working on a design project. It was a 3D maze for a bowling ball. You recognize these 2. They're bike crazy people. Karen and Carl ride their bike to school almost every day, even though Karen lives in downtown Santa Cruz. These are a group of students that we took to Seattle to go to the SHIP conference, Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. This is a photo of our STEM center where students you could see working collaboratively. Here's a bunch of us. Here's Kelly. You haven't met Sue. Sue used to run the MESA program, but she's retired now, but she still helps us with STEM activities. These are 2 students who worked on a project in our materials class where they had to design funky musical instruments made out of alternative materials. This was another project in our class where a group of students designed something to walk on water. The requirement is that they had to do like walk on water, and students did different designs, but this one did like a human powered rat wheel, I guess a mouse wheel. These are 3 of our students who were on the Engineering Abroad program and also were in the initial stages of when we created the WISE program. Here's another student in the materials lab, heat treating metal, steel. This is another group of students who was designing a fixture to lift a garbage pail full of 250 pounds of sand. These are 2 students that are working on a concrete mixture using a sieve. And a lot of these pictures are older pictures, like Casey works for the Santa Cruz County in the Civil Engineering Public Works Department. Carrie went on to transfer to UC Davis for a PhD, actually a bachelor's in electrical engineering. And then she went to a university in Ohio and got a PhD in optics, and she lives in Ohio. These are, this is Christina, the STEM counselor, and this is Marina and Wendy, who have been working with me on a STEM grant, a $5 million grant. And this is Rosa, who just transferred this past semester into chemistry. She was trying to decide whether to go into chemistry or chemical engineering, and she decided she wanted to be a chemist, and she's going to Cal Poly. These are students in the Engineering Abroad program who went to the American Society of Engineering Education annual conference in Washington, D.C. or Seattle. I'm not sure which one they went to, and they did a presentation. They wrote a paper. Here's another group of students working on that garbage pail lift. And this is our robotics club that did amazing things nationally. We won like 5 years in a row on a virtual competition and then an in-person competition. This is Roy, who started our machining lab and our machining class at Cabrillo. When he was a student, he designed a wooden vehicle, all machined. These ball bearings here were all machined out of wood because he's an amazing machinist. This is a picture of some of our alumni who are women, who are mentors for our students. These are a bunch of our students who have become teachers assistants in our classes. Like Keith mentioned, he was a teacher's assistant in the graphics class. And Marcine is a TA this semester in both statics and surveying. Here's Nanette, who works up in Humboldt County as an environmental engineer. And this is one of the walk on water projects. You see another one in the background. Hey, Edgar. This is a group of students who designed a bench for the walkway around this 800 building, which is really awesome. It's the back of a pickup truck. Really awesome. So he wound up Hector put his little name tag here in the space where you would lift up the back lift of a pickup truck. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. And Edgar just joined us. And Edgar, I would love for you to talk to the students about which high school you went into, which field of engineering you're interested in, and what are some great things that made you successful at Cabrillo, and where you're planning on transferring, because Edgar completed the program at Cabrillo already. Thanks, Edgar.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to be here. I mean, I was not expecting to be here, but apparently I'm still have access to the Canvas page in engineering, and I heard there is the engineering meeting today, and I said, why not? I mean, I went to the first one when I was barely getting out of high school, and why not showing up here and see what's going on? So I see a lot of people, well, a lot of names. So hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Edgar Mora. I am a former Cabrillo student. I just barely graduated this last semester. Stayed in Cabrillo during 4 years with an intended major in electrical engineering. I went to high school here in Watsonville, PB High School. I don't know if anybody is from PB High. Well, I used to go there. I actually just went there for 2 years. I'm actually an immigrant from Mexico. I came here while I was on sophomore year, so I barely got high school for 2 years. Moving to community college, not knowing what I wanted to do, barely knowing the English, and I don't know, finding my way into this new community. And Cabrillo, I just have a lot of nice things to say about Cabrillo. It was just an amazing school. I found a lot of support in this place called the STEM Center that hopefully you guys have the opportunity to visit once you are in person. Great faculty, a lot of excellent professors that I met in there. And the classes, I feel that the classes, what I got is I found the passion for engineering, like subjects just as math, physics, and even the engineering classes, they taught me pretty much all the skills that I earned as a student. And I found myself that I'm actually worth enough to, get a degree. I am a first generation student. Nobody in my family ever went to college, and me in a new country, knowing barely the language and have no idea of what I wanted to do. I feel so satisfied that I found the passion, and I have the all the set of skills to be ready to become a professional now that I'm moving out from community college. So yeah, I just graduated to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. I'm actually moving on Thursday to San Luis Obispo. We have in-person classes. I'm super excited for it. And yeah, I met Joanne during my first semester, and man, she just knows everything. Anytime you feel stuck on something, hey, Joanne is gonna be there for you, just as any other instructor and engineering faculty will be there to happily help you. I was just gonna say, don't be a stranger. Try to I know online classes are not super exciting as an in-person, but take advantage of all the resources that you have. You're not alone in this journey. You will get to meet a lot of people, and definitely reach out to help in case you need it. We always want to be here to help you. And I was a tutor, so hopefully from here, there will be a lot of people who, I don't know, want to help others, be tutor, be part of this community. And I don't know, this is completely improvised. I was not expecting to be here, but hey, it is what it is. So, hey, I don't know, Joanne, is that all you want me to say?
It's awesome, Edgar. Does anybody have questions for Edgar? So he's transferring in electrical engineering. Something I want to add is when we talked about, the diversity of the students who came, a lot of, Kelly, Karen, and I have a background of civil, and three of the present students of civil, but mechanical engineering is the most popular major at Cabrillo. And then I would say electrical and electrical and civil engineering, but we have students interested in industrial engineering, chemical engineering, manufacturing engineering, computer engineering, software engineering, and I'll show you all the different disciplines in a little bit. So just because we happen to be here and are civil doesn't mean we're all about civil. So any questions? Oh, Gerardo's asking you how old you are, Edgar. Is that okay?
No, yeah, totally. If hopefully you believe me, because people say, "No, you don't look like that." I'm 23, and I'm gonna be 24 this year, so I'm still young.
Okay, what other questions you have for Edgar? Okay, well, Edgar might be the one I'm connecting you with if you're interested in electrical engineering and going to Cal Poly, just like I connected Edgar with, Edgar, who was it that I connected you with? That yours was a good friend of yours here? I'm blanking on the name right now.
Yeah, I'm also blinking because I barely sent her an email, but I haven't heard.
No, a guy.
Oh, it was a guy? Damn.
I can't remember.
Well,
Can't remember.
yeah.
Anyway, you might be connected to Edgar if you decide to go electrical engineering, because once I know where you're going, once I know where you're transferring to, then I could connect you to the students that are there. There's another question from Gerardo who's asking, how did you decide which major you wanted to go into?
Yes. So when I started Cabrillo, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to be an engineer. I just knew that I wanted to do something with science. And I took this engineering 5 class with Joanne, like my first semester in Cabrillo, and I got to see a perspective of all the different disciplines in engineering. And I got attracted into 2 disciplines, electrical and mechanical. And this is my experience. While we were learning about doing mechanical engineering or topic of mechanical engineering, I realized that the mechanical aspect of building something out of like from scratch was not like what really was passion for me about, but the aspects of doing something that generates electricity, generates energy, because me personally, I think electricity is one of the greatest inventions that has ever been done in life, in history. And we did a topic on renewable energy. And I also on the side had a small internship in Solar Academy that happened in Cabrillo once. I heard about solar energy. And for me, it was just the perfect combination of science, electricity, environmental friendly source that can benefit both environment and the society in general. And I started researching on this electrical engineering with specifics in renewable energy. I saw the curriculum, a lot of circuits classes, computer science, physics, math. And since I'm a science kid, especially physics and circuits, I found just the passion perfectly. There's a circuits class in Cabrillo that I took and I just love it. So yeah, I pretty much taking classes and finding out what do I want to do for my life. That's how I figured out I wanted to do electrical engineering. So yeah, that's the story.
Gerardo, thanks so much for asking that question, because I think Edgar gave like a really good description of how he decided. So first, you'll take engineering 5 and you'll be exposed and you'll narrow down some of them. And a lot of times it's kind of like you realize what you don't like. And then you're left with the things that you still do like. And then as you go along in the classes, you get exposed to more. And then Edgar said circuits is what clinched it. He really loved it. Okay, another question for Edgar. Okay, Edgar, thanks so much. You can hang on if you want. I'm just going to start just continuing to go over what the engineering program is all about.
Sure, totally. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. You know, I love
great.
Cabrillo.
Okay. All right, I'm hoping you guys don't mind. I'm just going to keep going. And if you phase out for a while, just remember that this video is going to be recorded. I mean, it's recorded and I'm going to post it because I don't want to give you a break because I might lose everybody. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going because I want to give you as much info as I can. So I'm going back to share screen. And now instead of going on the engineering website, I'm going to the Canvas page. So what I would love for you all to do, at the end, when I'm working with people individually, I really want to make sure that you all have access to this engineering student Canvas page. And you should, because if you are an engineering major, you have access to it. So as long as you declared your major engineering, you have access to it. And if you're taking engineering 5, and I'm going to see you next week, I could figure it out if you're not in it yet, but you should be. So I'm going to open up this. And you'll notice that one thing on the left side is announcements. And this is where all us engineering faculty and STEM counselors and Kelly as the STEM director, STEM center director and MESA director post everything. We post jobs like we need tutors, or where you could get in-person vaccines, where the orientation, a summer internship, scholarships, all that kind of stuff. So you really want, I'm going back to the dashboard, you really want to make sure that you have this, and you want to make sure that you're linked in so that you are getting the announcements. So I'm going to go back into here. And if I go to modules, and many of you have probably used Canvas online already for school. You'll notice that there's a module on, let me go scroll up to the top. There's a I'm going to close this for a minute. There's a module on engineering career exploration. So if you open this up, you'll see that there's a lot of resources, web resources, library videos, magazines in the library that you could access. Also, you'll notice the second module is called Engineering Projects, Disciplines, Industries, and Functions. And, you know, we could look at all the different types of products that engineers make. Here are information on disciplines and statistics. And what I want to pull up right now is the categories in engineering. I also talk about industries that hire engineers, the different job descriptions, which are called functions of an engineer. And we go over this in detail in Engineering 5. But I want to pull up the engineering disciplines right now. So I'm hoping that everybody sees. I have to move your picture photos again out of the way. Could everybody see this? Could I get a thumbs up? Yeah, Edgar, I'm getting a thumbs up. What I did is I separated all the fields of engineering into 6 categories. The civil engineering category, the mechanical engineering category, the electrical and computer engineering category, the chem and bioengineering category, the industrial engineering category, and then the more theoretical physics-based engineering categories. So if you look under civil engineering is a broad engineering discipline, but under civil, you could also get a degree in structural or architectural or geotechnical or geological. We'll go over all these specifically in Engineering 5. But I just want you to be aware that there are many fields of engineering, and you could get a bachelor's degree in a broad discipline of engineering or a more specific degree of engineering. And then you'll notice that there's crossover too. There's a field of engineering called ocean engineering, which is really part civil engineering and part chemical and bio. There is a field called robotics engineering that encompasses electrical and computer and mechanical engineering. And robotics engineering is also called mechatronics. So again, this is information that you get exposed to in Engineering 5. It's teaching you that there are many fields of engineering you could get degrees in. There are many subcategories of each of the broad disciplines. And you have a choice when you get a bachelor's degree, whether you want it to be broad or specialty focused. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, so Gerardo, you said that you don't have that in Canvas. So are you taking an engineering course this semester, Gerardo? Okay, Brian, I am an engineering major and I was not put on the Canvas class. Let me check. So basically, Gerardo, you going to be in engineering 5? Yes or no? Okay, Sam, you're in engineering 5. Sam, you must be in the 4 to 7 one that doesn't start in a month, right? That's why you're not in it yet. Gerardo, you're not in engineering 5, so you're going to want to register for engineering 5. So we could talk about that again when I talk to you individually. Chris, same thing. We'll talk about it. Okay. Okay, so let me go back. Let me see. What was the question? My question, Brian. No, my question was, oh no, Brian, I was talking to Brian, B-R-I-A-N, not you with the Y. Okay, I am going to start sharing the screen again. The other thing I want to show you in the modules, I'm going to close that module. So I showed you categories of the engineering disciplines. I also now want to show you the engineering education module. Sorry, I had to turn the AC on again. I'm opening the engineering education module. And I also listed the categories here as well. And there's a bunch of stuff, all this stuff I go over in engineering 5. But what I want to bring up and show you is this. It's called, see, notice this engineering education module is split into 2. Evaluating engineering academic programs, and you're going to be doing that when you're thinking about where you want to transfer to. And then also the next category is engineering courses, and I'm now showing you the courses that we offer. Okay, so can everybody see this on the screen? Al, I see you. Could you give me a thumbs up if you see it? Okay. Okay. Lower division are all the courses taught in the first 2 years of a program. Lower division. When you transfer to the university for your last 2 years, that's when you take upper division courses. Core courses mean the courses that are really critical and core to the engineering program, which you could imagine is all the math, all the science, engineering courses. I did not include the non-core courses. The non-core courses are called general education. General education classes are English, psychology, history, political science, communications, and they are not all required for engineering. So what I'm concentrating on first are the core courses. Notice the top one says the following core courses recommended to help you determine which field of engineering you want to pursue. Engineering 5, we talked about it so many times already. Then the following core courses are required for all engineering majors. So regardless of the engineering major you want to be in, you're going to have to take 3 semesters of calculus. You're going to have to take another math class called differential equations, and you're going to have to take 2 physics classes. Then the next category says the following core courses are required for transfer for most engineering majors and transfer universities. So we already learned from listening to me that everyone has to take 1 chem college course, except for those of you who major in electrical, computer engineering, or software engineering. You're probably going to need to take an engineering communication class, probably a circuits class, although civils don't need that anymore. You're probably going to take a statics or materials class, although electricals don't need it anymore. But most of these classes you're going to be taking. You're going to be taking 1 programming class. The last category are the courses that really depend on which is your engineering major. 12, 26, 36, those classes are classes for mechanical and aerospace engineering majors. Bio, that's if you're going into biomedical or bioengineering. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. I'm imagining you guys are getting overwhelmed right now with all the stuff I'm telling you. What is the most important thing to take away from this class, this orientation? One, know that you are in a fucking awesome place to get an engineering degree. It is a great engineering program. Al, sorry if you didn't like that I said that. Edgar is hysterical.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Second, you are in a great program. Two, the second thing, you want to make sure that you're taking the right classes this coming semester. Because if you're taking the wrong classes this fall, then that might mean that you're at Cabrillo longer than you need to be. Okay? So those are the two main things. I'm trying to expose you to the program, but you're going to learn more about it as you go through it. And maybe the third thing is take Engineering 5, because that's how you get oriented to everything. Okay, I want to look at my notes for a minute. Actually, let me give everybody a 10-minute break. Okay, so you could go get some water, you could go to the bathroom and come back, and I'm going to stop recording for now. And if any of you have some quick questions I could ask, because I'm not going to leave, I'm going to stay during the 10 minutes. Okay, so the last thing we're going to talk about right now is just to give you an idea what it's going to be like if you're in person at Cabrillo. And then what I'm going to do is people could leave if they want. Otherwise, I'm going to go through everyone and figure out making sure you're taking the right engineering classes. And Edgar, maybe you could stay on and help me with this so that we have two of us. Okay. So, you're probably all concerned about COVID. The Delta variant is horrible. And even if we are fully vaxxed, we could still get the Delta variant. Although it's not going to impact us that much. We'll get sick. But people who are over 65, who are fully vaxxed, if they get the Delta variant, it could be bad. Okay, so certainly the Delta variant is bad for anybody who's not fully vaccinated. I think you guys know that already. But anybody who's fully vaxxed, if somebody is over 65, they could have to go to a hospital, maybe even pass away. So you need to be careful. If you're at home, if your grandparents live in your house, if you're interacting with older people, you really need to be careful. Okay? What we are doing in our engineering classes is anything that we have in person. Everybody's listening, right? Everybody's listening? All eyes on me. Although I can't see any eyes. Nobody be dreaming right now. Everybody is listening to me, right? The engineering department will give every student an N95 mask when you walk into the classroom. We are providing you with N95 masks. And when you are finished and ready to walk out the classroom, you're going to take the N95 mask off. You are going to put it in a paper bag that I'm going to give you. You're going to fold it up and you're going to put your name on it. And that paper bag with your mask is going to stay in the classroom until the next week when you use it again. In order to reuse masks, you have to have 2 days. So basically, N95 masks, once you've worn it for 4 hours, it has too much stuff on it, or it could have too much stuff on it. But once it's aerated through a bag that's not plastic, in a paper bag, 2 days later, it's totally fine to use again. So we are going to provide you with N95 masks, and you're going to have them to wear during the time you're in class. And I and our engineering teachers are going to be wearing a mask in class. Okay? The college does have a rule that if the teacher is 6 feet away from the students, the teacher can take the mask off, but that will be a function of everyone in the room will have to be comfortable in order for me to do that. Okay? So we're all going to have N95 masks. This is not the policy that every other teacher is doing. This is what we are doing in the engineering department because we want you all to be safe, or I should say extra safe. Probably surgical masks are fine. Okay, so I want to know if anybody has any questions about the whole safety. Hang on a second. Does anybody have any questions? What if we bring our own mask? You could totally bring your own mask, but I'm going to have you wear an N95 mask anyway, and you could put yours over the N95 if you want, or under the N95 if you want. It'll probably be better to have the N95 touching your face because then it's going to be secure around you. And the faculty have already been told how to put masks on. First thing you're supposed to do is you're supposed to wash your hands. You should put hand sanitizer on. You take the mask out of a bag and you only touch the outside. I don't have a mask right here with me. You only touch the mask from the outside. You take the mask, you put it on your face. You take one band, the lower band goes under your hair against your neck, and the upper band goes right on the crown of your head. And I was told that it goes on the crown of your head. You don't want to put it here because then it cuts off circulation here and you could get headaches. And then you fit it so it's good. And you make sure that it fits. And then when we take them off, we put our hand on the outside, we take the bands off, we pull it off, we fold it, we stick it in the paper bag. We never touch the inside of the mask. Okay. So some of our classes are, let's see, some of the engineering classes have mandatory in-person sessions. Some of them have optional in-person sessions. And we are doing synchronous online, so everything will be recorded too. So if a student has a special situation, then they could come and talk to the teacher about it. Actually not come and talk. You could email your teacher and let us know. Okay, any other questions about being safe in the classroom? Okay. But I think the other requirement is at Cabrillo is you could bring your own mask to any class. And it sounds like there are situations where some people aren't vaccinated if it's a medical reason or a religious reason. So the college is having everybody wear masks. Okay. So now I only have, some people have left, so I only have like one screen of all of you. Could you guys turn on your cameras so at least I could see faces if you're comfortable with that? Hi, and is it May or Mai?
It's May.
May. Okay, May. Okay. Grisella, is that how you pronounce your name? Pronounce it. Grisella. Okay, Connor, Sam. Okay. Yolotzin, could you pronounce that for me?
Yoloxin, or you could just call me YOLO too. It's way easier.
YOLO, or YOLO like YOLO or yellow?
YOLO, as in
YOLO.
you only live once. Yeah, that old stuff.
Okay, YOLO, thanks. Brian with the Y, Nathan, Daniel, Aiden, and Angelica, Alexis. Do you say Alexis or Alexis, or how do you pronounce your name?
Just Alexis.
Alexis, okay. Jillian, Chris. Okay, and the rest of you might not have cameras. Okay, something else that's really important is the engineering department at Cabrillo, hang on. The engineering department at Cabrillo bought 40 laptops for engineering students. And the college also has webcams and hotspots. So I'm going to show you how to get one to borrow for the whole semester. So I'm going to go share screen. I'm going back to this. I'm going to the Cabrillo website. Oops. I probably should have said this before people left. So can everybody see the main Cabrillo website? It's cabrillo.edu. You click on COVID-19. And once you click on that, look on the right side. Loaner Chromebooks and laptops available. You click this button here, apply to the hardware equipment loan program. And when you click on it, do you see I have to log on? Does everybody see I have to log on? So I log on. And once I log on, here is the form. It says hardware. Please select a term before filling it out. So I need to click a term, fall 21. See, it says you are not registered. Okay, because I'm not a student. Okay, but this is the form. It says hardware equipment loan program up the top. The important thing is select which class requires technology. Choose an engineering class. You have to be in an engineering class to be able to borrow an engineering laptop because we only have 40 of them. And then reason for technology request. Well, no, I'm sorry. Okay, let me back up a little. As a Cabrillo student, you could get anything free. You could get a Chromebook, you could get a laptop, you could get a hotspot, you could get a webcam. You don't have to be taking an engineering class. Anybody could get a free one. But if you want a free loaner engineering laptop that has engineering software on it, you have to be in an engineering class. Does that make sense? We have 40 engineering laptops that have engineering software in it for engineering students in classes. They need laptops and the software. Okay, so if you want an engineering laptop, then you would have to write down, I want an engineering laptop, and you have to choose the engineering course you're in. Otherwise, you could just get a normal laptop that'll give you, Word and PowerPoint and all that other stuff. And then you don't have to ask for an engineering laptop. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, any questions about that? How do you check? Somebody's asking me, how do we check if a class has a mandatory in-person section? Okay, you ready? Okay, I'm going back to share screen. I'm going to the Cabrillo website. I'm hitting enter. And I am going to classes. You guys, you see where it says classes up here? I'm going to classes. And now on the right side, I pick the course. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick Engr classes. Okay, Engr. And on the left side, I'm going to pick the term fall 21. And I'm going to hit search. Okay, and now what is it showing me? It's showing me accounting. Well, that's not what I wanted, so let's do it again. Search for courses. I'm going to type Engr, hit enter. Maybe I forgot to hit enter. And then I'm picking fall. And now it's showing me the engineering courses. Okay, ready? Here is the course, Engineering 45. Carl's teaching it. I'm clicking on View Available section. And now I'm going to scroll down. Okay. What does it say? There's 5 entries. What a pain, huh? You got to read them all. First one, it says Monday, Wednesday, 9:30 to 11 to 10:50. It says it's an online class, but they give you a time. which means it's got to be a synchronous online class. Get it? Synchronous online. You have to be on Zoom with Carl during that time. The next one, to be determined. Online course, building 800, 810. They're saying it's an online class, but it's in room 810. So there must be something that's going to be in person because they wouldn't have written 810. Even though it says online, there is going to be something in person. Okay. Then let's look at this one. It gives dates, no times, and it doesn't give a classroom. So this part is asynchronous. Okay. So now let's look at one of my classes. Let's go to Engineering 5. So there are 2 sections of Engineering 5. This one has a time and it says it's online. So it's got to be synchronous online at that time. This one has a time, but it says main campus, and it has a room number. So you know it's in person. So to answer your question, what's the best way of finding out whether it's in person or not? Is you look at that it has to have a specific time and it has to have a room number. Now, there was another way. I looked through all the engineering courses, but what I could have done is look at main campus. No. Main campus. Let's see what happens. This isn't complete because it's only listing 5 and 12. So this is not a good way to look. Well, maybe there's another one down here, in person. On campus, this is it. Don't look at main campus, look at on campus. It means that even though there are 8 engineering classes, even though there are 8 engineering courses being offered this semester, 7 of them have an on-person part. So if you click on campus, then what's going to happen is it's not going to show you the engineering 5. That is, it didn't show you the 11 to 2 engineering 5 that is only online. I know it's confusing. Sorry. It would be nice, maybe most of the general ed classes are either online or in person. And actually, probably most courses in the campus are either online or in person. But for the engineering department, we want you in person for the labs, but we want to decrease the amount of time you're in person. So we're doing the lectures online. So we're doing what's referred to as hybrid, part online and part in person, because we think it's the best for you in terms of safety and learning. Questions? Okay, I see some more questions in here. Sorry to stray off topic, but is the class CG51 STEM also referred to CG5101? No. It's the same course, but a different section. So remember, Engineering 5 had 2 sections, right? Engineering 501 and Engineering 502. There are different sections of the same class. One was online and one was in person. There are many sections of CG51, 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, whatever. And then if you keep going down, you're going to see a CG51 STEM 01 and a STEM 02. You got to pick one of the STEM sections and get on the wait list. Okay, let's see what other questions you have. Do I need a CG51 class for Engineering 502? No, actually CG51 is not required. They want you to take it because it's an introduction to college and you're going to learn about success strategies, but it's not a required class. Edgar, would you like to share your opinion of CG51 STEM?
Well, I'm not a good person because I didn't take the STEM
Oh, okay.
CG51. I took a
Okay.
regular one.
Okay, all
But I
right.
met Christina in that class. So
Okay,
it was-
Christina Kuhn. So in the difference between the regular CG51 and the STEM CG51 is in STEM, you are going to be introduced to all the science, technology, engineering, math programs on campus. You're going to learn about construction program. You're going to learn about horticulture. You're going to learn about physics, chemistry, bio, engineering, computer science, geology, oceanography. You're going to learn about all that and how to be successful in the STEM programs. And you're going to meet the STEM counselors. The regular CG51 are just going to talk about how to be a successful college student, period. Okay, what other questions? Can we check my classes after this meeting to see if I have my classes online? Sure. Can you talk about study abroad? Yeah. Study abroad is awesome. Last year was the 8th year of our engineering abroad program. Engr is in it. We had to postpone going to Costa Rica because of COVID. So we're not going until the summer. So you have an opportunity to learn about the abroad program this whole year because the students have already been chosen for this year. You could apply at the end of this year for next year. So I would suggest you wait this year, and I could talk more about it at another time rather than talking about it now, because it's not as critical as making sure you're taking the right classes now. Okay, somebody asked me if they should take English 1A the first semester. Oh, so is it a good idea to have both CG51 STEM and No, just one. Don't take both of them. In fact, I don't even think they'll let you register. Just take CG51 STEM. That's it. Okay, because they cover all the topics that CG51 covers, plus STEM stuff. Okay, somebody asked if they should take English 1A this semester. If you are a typical engineering student where it takes a long time to write, I would suggest saving English for the summer so it doesn't take time away from your core courses of math, science, and engineering. If English for you and writing is a breeze, it's totally easy, it doesn't take time, then sure, you could take English in the fall, it's no problem. For me as a student, it took me a long time to write. So I would take it in the summer.